portion, and He is our prize. Drawn to redemption by the grace in His eyes. His grace is an ocean we're all sinking. So heaven meets earth like an unforeseen kiss. My heart turns vitally inside of my chest. I don't have time to maintain these regrets when I think about the way He loves us. Oh, how He loves us. Oh, how He loves us. Oh, how He loves. Yeah, He loves us. Oh, how He loves us. Oh, how He loves us. Oh, how He loves.
Give me your eyes. Are we good?
Down from a broken sky, traced down by the city lights. Miles a mile high, best seat in the house tonight. Touchdown on the cold black top, hold on for the sudden stop. Breathing the familiar shock, confusion and chaos. All those people going somewhere. Why have I never cared? Give me your eyes for just 1 second. Give me your eyes so I can see everything that I keep missing. Give me your love for humanity. Give me your arms for the broken-hearted, the ones that are far beyond my reach. Give me your heart for the ones forgotten. Give me your eyes so I can see. Yeah, 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 yeah. Step out on a busy street, see a girl and our eyes meet. She does her best to smile at me, to hide what's underneath. There's a man just to her right, black suit and a bright red tie. Too ashamed to tell his wife he's out of work, he's buying time. All those people going somewhere. Why have I never cared? Give me your eyes for just 1 second. Give me your eyes so I can see everything that I keep missing. Give me your love for humanity. Give me your arms for the broken-hearted, ones that are far beyond my reach. Give me your heart for the ones forgotten. Give me your eyes so I can see. Yeah, 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 yeah. I've been here a million times, a couple of million eyes, just here to pass me by. I swear I never thought that well, I want a second glance, so give me a second chance. See the way you see the people all along. Give me your eyes for just 1 second. Give me your eyes so I can see everything that I keep missing. Give me your love for humanity. Give me your arms for the broken-hearted, the ones that are far beyond my reach. Give me your heart for the ones forgotten. Give me your eyes so I can see. Give me your eyes for just 1 second. Give me your eyes so I can see everything that I keep missing. Give me your love for humanity. Give me your arms for the broken-hearted, the ones that are far beyond my reach. Give me your heart for the ones forgotten. Give me your eyes so I can see. Yeah.
All this pain, I wonder if I'll ever find my way. I wonder if my life could really change at all. All this earth, could all that is lost ever be found? Could a garden come up from this ground at all? You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. All around, hope is springing up from this old ground. Out of chaos, life is being found in you. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. You make me new. You are making me new. You make me new. You are making me new. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us.
Friends, let's begin to move to our seats. We're approaching 8 o'clock and our start time. I'd ask those at the back to please close the back doors, and we'll get ready to begin. That's what happens with these early morning sessions. As we move to our seats, I'd ask us to kind of give our attention as we listen for this word from Romans, the 12th chapter. So here's what I want you to do, God helping you. Take your everyday, ordinary life, your sleeping, eating, going to work, and walking around life, and place it before God as an offering. Embracing what God does for you is the best thing you can do for God. Don't become so well adjusted to your culture that you fit into it without even thinking. Instead, fix your attention on God. You'll be changed from the inside out. Readily recognize what He wants from you and quickly respond to it. Unlike the culture around you, always dragging you down to its level of immaturity, God brings out the best of you, develops well-formed maturity in you. May God bless us with a richer understanding of this word today. Friends, it's a privilege to introduce our speaker this morning. Our guest is Bishop Tom Bickerton. Bishop Bickerton and I were elected in the same year, 2004, to the episcopacy. And I think things are happening. And somehow everywhere Bishop Bickerton goes, strange things happen. Bishop Bickerton serves the Pittsburgh area of the United Methodist Church, and his principal leadership in the church and greatest contribution to the church has not only been in his Episcopal area, but in his being one of the leaders and establishers of the emphasis on nothing but nets that eventually matured into Imagine No Malaria. And I have a hunch we're going to learn all kinds of things about this. And so I hope you will join me in welcoming Bishop Bickerton and whatever else happens this morning.
We've been invaded. Thanks, youth. I was in eastern Pennsylvania a few weeks ago, and before I gave my presentation there, a mosquito came in and gave his own presentation on the Save the Mosquito campaign. And it was quite lively. Good morning, Missouri. Oh, you can do better than that. Good morning. It appears you've been slimed. I'm having to adjust this morning to this green. It's a real joy and privilege to be with you this morning. I count it my humble privilege to be with you. I bring greetings to you from the 850 churches and the 187,000 members that make up the Western Pennsylvania Annual Conference. That is the place that we've called home the last 9 years of our lives, and it's a privilege to serve there, but it's also a privilege to serve you and all others across this great church of ours. In just about every Sunday, I have an opportunity to speak in a different church, And when I do that, I usually do what I'm about to do now. And that is when I preach in the church, I have an opportunity to share a bit of my day with the person who is appointed to serve in that place. And I never want to take that for granted. And it's always with a deep sense of appreciation that I share those days with those pastors that are appointed in those places. And I always want to take advantage of the opportunity to say thanks be to God for a call to ministry and for faithful service. And so today, in this place, I want to say I thank God for the ministry of Robert Schnase. And I want to say, I want to say to you that the blessing of the connection, and it is indeed a blessed connection, the blessing of the connection is found in the various expressions of Christ that you find in the lives of people that you encounter along the way. The privilege of being elected to the episcopacy in 2004 has many, many great benefits to it. One of those has been to get to know and appreciate and love your Bishop and Esther, and to benefit from the great blessings that he brings to the church, and to be inspired by his uniqueness. He says to me all the time, I just refuse to be conformed, and he's blessing me with that. And so I count it a great privilege to share a bit of time in this space that he calls home, and it gives me great joy to be able to say that I thank God for you, my brother, and thank God for the way that you support him in ministry. Would you once again thank your bishop? You know, friends, the more that I study the Bible, the more I've come to understand that scriptures are not something that are just to be understood. Scripture longs to be put into action. We tend to step back, ponder, think, consider, reflect, when the Bible really calls us to get moving, to get into the act, to perform it in significant ways, to live out the text rather than just ponder it. That's really what these green shirts are all about, I think, because you're going to live that out this afternoon. 600 or 700 of you are going to immerse this community, getting your fingernails dirty. You know, I believe that Scripture can be put into action. James chapter 1, verse 22 says, be doers of the word, and not just hearers only who deceive themselves. Gary Henderson, the executive director of our Global Health Initiative, puts it this way. Gary says, we are a bright people in the midst of a sea of need. The world is calling out for us to help. Now, as you well know, those needs are everywhere. They're here at home. You know that better than most people with what's happened in Joplin. But they exist all over the world. And when United Methodists sense a need, it's in our DNA to do something about it. We've proven that to be true over and over and over again, whether it's a natural disaster in the United States or abroad. We, as a United Methodist Church, are there. Whether it's constructing a health kit or building a Habitat for Humanity house or constructing a flood bucket or organizing a VIM team, we are there. But what if it isn't a natural disaster? What if, rather than reacting to a disaster, we front-loaded an initiative to do something, to make something happen before it happens? Something like saving someone's life before they die, or offering them a chance to live a long, healthy, sustained life. 19-year-old Elizabeth Clymer, a freshman at the University of North Carolina and a United Methodist from Springfield, Virginia, says it as well as anybody that I know. Elizabeth says, When a preventable disease causes poverty and kills children, it's time to take action. We are United Methodists, and this is what we do. We are taking action, and that's why I'm here today, to give you an update and to invite your annual conference in the participation in our denomination's Imagine No Malaria campaign, a campaign to eliminate malaria-related disease and illness across the world. Now, why malaria? Why did we pick that one? Well, malaria represents the worst plague in history. King Tut was said to have died from malaria. Some have suggested that the Apostle Paul suffered from malaria. During the Roman Empire, bogs were built at the base of cities. And those bogs were created by the Roman government so that the enemy would dwell in those bogs. And it was their belief that it was in those bogs that the mal air would affect them and weaken their ability. Did you know that Francis Asbury suffered from malaria right here in the United States? Today, malaria still claims 655,000 lives every year. Now here's the kicker. It kills 655,000 lives every year, yet it's 100% preventable and treatable. We know how to deal with this. We know we can win it. We did it right here in the United States in the mid-20th century. There are still people across the United States, and I know of at least one here in this room, who has a story about malaria, the malaria that they've contracted themselves. 9 years ago, we asked all of the bishops in Africa a question in a meeting that we had in Arizona. One question was this: how can we best help you create a healthier Africa? They gave us a quick response. It was one sentence: eliminate malaria. When we inquired further, they said to us a very simple thing. If a child can't get past age 5, nothing else matters. Now recently, 9 years later, we asked them the very same question again. Their answer was the same: eliminate malaria. And today, in 4 years, we've created a new reality for the church and for the world. We have gone from the reality that every 30 seconds a child dies from malaria to every 60 seconds a child dies from malaria. That's the kind of work that's being done to make this a past tense rather than a present tense. And that ability to go from 60 seconds to 30 seconds is due to the collaborative efforts of the United Methodist Church with partners both secular and sacred all over the world. The role of the United Methodist Church is absolutely critical in the midst of this malaria fight. It's critical for a reason that we didn't know when we started this work. We didn't realize when we began this work that the United Methodist Church is the most trusted delivery system on the continent of Africa. Not the government, not secular business, but the church. The church has the vehicle. In 2004, the United Methodist Church's General Conference made an extraordinary commitment to participate with these secular and sacred partners to eliminate malaria-related deaths in Africa by 2015. We agreed to raise $75 million to provide the necessary resources to improve our delivery systems and to provide support networks all across sub-Saharan Africa. It was our goal then, 4 years ago, to empower the people of Africa to achieve a sustainable victory over malaria. Now, the key word in all that is sustainable. It was our goal to improve the quality of life for all of God's children with better health conditions. Now, that is, friends, the essence of the Global Health Initiative's Imagine No Malaria campaign. It's an effort today that I'm pleased to tell you has raised in pledges and gifts up until this day $44 million toward that $75 million goal. And the wave of momentum that's happening right now gives us not just reason, but factual ability to say that by August 1st of this year, the Imagine No Malaria campaign will surpass $50 million. We are 2/3 of the way home. And the momentum that's being gained in the last year has been phenomenal. What is Imagine No Malaria? Well, Imagine No Malaria is a comprehensive approach to eliminating malaria-related deaths across the world. It's all about sustainability. It's not about a quick fix, not about a short-term goal, not about making anybody in this room feel better because of what we've done. It's all about sustainability. It's all about putting tools, resources, support in the hands of Africans to empower communities and individuals. We in this campaign like to talk about Nets Plus, how these components work together to make Imagine No Malaria a reality. And what are those components? Prevention, education, communication, treatment. All of that adding up to a sustainable victory over malaria. Now let's talk for a few minutes about prevention. Well, there is no doubt that prevention is equated with a thing called a mosquito net. That still remains the most scientifically proven effective way to beat these mosquitoes. So it is about mosquito nets. But what you see on the screen right now is something that goes beyond a mosquito net. What you're looking at is a canal in DRC Congo. Every day, there are Africans who gather in that canal with a shovel, and they continue to dig that canal in order to get standing water out of that community, because standing water is where mosquitoes are bred. It's one of the most inspiring things to go to that site and be handed a shovel yourself, and you begin to dig that canal. They do that every day because they want to get rid of this thing. And it is one of the effective means that's being used in the Kamina to get that standing water out so those mosquitoes don't breed. It is about prevention and ongoing research for how we achieve this sustainable victory. It's about education. One of the hallmarks of this campaign has been the fact that we've come to an understanding that we are not the delivery system. Now, that's one of those things that makes all of us feel good. It used to be that we would go to Africa, we would get a pickup truck, we'd fill that pickup truck with mosquito nets, and those of us from the United States who were getting our jollies about being there would get in the back of that pickup truck and we'd go to a village and we'd start passing out mosquito nets. That was our approach. You know what happened? Some of those mosquito nets were being used as fishing seines. Some of them, one of them, we know one case where a woman used a mosquito net as a wedding veil. Oftentimes, those unopened bags of mosquito nets were sold. $10 in Africa is a whole lot more than $10 here. And so we learned the hard way about a sustainable victory based on education. What we've done now is to train community-based traditional birth attendants. What those traditional birth attendants do when they're first trained, the very first thing we do is to hand them a bag with a mosquito net in it. And the very first thing they're instructed to do, is to rip the bag open. When they rip the bag open, it no longer can be sold. Those traditional birth attendants are then trained to take those open bags into the villages where they work. They are to walk into a hut. They instruct the family about how to use that net, usually 2 nets per family. They help them hang them. And a month later, every month, they go back and monitor that those nets are being used in the right way. Now, that's something that you and I just can't do. But those traditional birth attendants know those people by name. See, that's one of the great things about this connection of ours. This connection not only helps people who don't know each other get to know one another, this connection is so amazing that the United Methodist Church goes where the road ends. The United Methodist Church knows the names of the people who receive those bed nets. That's the blessing of this connection. The other hallmark of this Imagine No Malaria campaign is based on one of those realities that's faced in every room like this. There's someone in this room that says, how will I know that the money that we give to Imagine No Malaria will get to the source? That's always a critical question. What we've done in this campaign is devise something that's now being replicated by the International Red Cross and other denominations that are working in Africa. We've created in every country where we work a thing called an in-country health board. That health board is made up of religious leaders, pastors, doctors, nurses, secular agencies, all sitting around the table, all Africans sitting around the table. They determine the projects that we fund, and they become the vehicle through which our money goes that then ensures our accountability. That in-country health board has devised ideas and plans for implementation to get rid of malaria that are driven by Africans and that are making a sustainable difference. It is about education, but it's also about communication. You know, some say that Africa skipped the 20th century. When you travel to Africa, you don't find many telephone poles, but you sure do find a cell phone. And you find a radio. Now, we believe that this integrated approach has to get to people where they are. And so text messaging through cell phone technology is something that we continue to breed and grow in Africa, and the building of radio stations to communicate health-related messages are getting the word out to Africans that there's a place where they can go to get help, and there's a way that they can overcome this disease. That communication has its own side benefits as well. Some of you may know that in the war that happened not too long ago in Côte d'Ivoire, our colleague, Bishop Schneese's my colleague, Bishop Bonny and his family were confined to their conference center when the bombs were hitting Côte d'Ivoire. They huddled in a corner all night long, not knowing whether their lives would be saved. But in that conference center, there's a radio station that was constructed by United Methodist Communications for Imagine No Malaria. That radio station played inspirational hymns all night long during the bombing. It was the only radio station that was playing in the midst of the bombs. We provided a sense of hope and pastoral care, even in the midst of us trying to kill a killer disease. There are all sorts of benefits to those kind of communication techniques that we're using across Africa to get the message to our people that the Church of Jesus Christ cares about them and that we're bound and determined to level the playing field so that all God's children live a long, healthy, sustained life. And Imagine No Malaria is about treatment. That communication enables people to understand that they have access to medicine. Imagine No Malaria is about revitalizing our hospitals and clinics. We do have the most trusted delivery system on the continent of Africa, but it's kind of old, and it needs to be revamped and revitalized. It's about building new facilities and putting personnel in those facilities who know how to treat people when they get the disease. To summarize, Imagine No Malaria is a comprehensive fight. Now, who's doing what? Well, our United Methodist churches all across the connection are raising money to feed into that system, that strategy. And our United Methodist Committee on Relief is on the ground helping to implement it. That's Imagine No Malaria. Now, some have asked, in fact, Jill and Jennifer asked me this morning, and Audrey asked, why did you get involved with this? Well, I can't come before you today without sharing a personal side of this story. In 1986, I made my very first trip to Africa. I spent 6 weeks evaluating the mission projects that the General Board of Global Ministries undertook in Liberia, Kenya, Tanzania, and Zimbabwe. I landed in Liberia. And one of the first places we went was to a leper colony. We got off the bus, and what I saw there was something I'd never seen before, limbs that were falling apart and people who were struggling with day-to-day life. When I got off the bus, there was a little man. Now, you need to understand that for me, most people are little people. But this little guy came up to me, wrinkled, old fella. He looked at me and he said, "Thank you." And I said, I don't know why you're saying that. I've never met you before. And he said again, "Thank you." And I said, "You must be mistaken. I've never seen you before. You don't need to thank me for anything." And he said a third time, "Thank you." And I said, "I don't understand what you're saying." He said to me, "You're a missionary from the United States, aren't you?" That's what they call every short-term visitor to Africa. You're a missionary. We were told that coming in, so I knew the drill. "Yes," I said, "I'm a missionary." He said, "Thank you." I said, "I haven't done anything. I just got here." He said, "No, you need to know that a long time ago, your country cared enough to bring the gospel of Jesus Christ to our country. And if it wasn't for what you did, I would not know Jesus today. Thank you." At that point, the little gentleman pulled out this very worn Bible. It was very evident that he had read it through and through over the years. He opened the cover of that Bible, and inside were words that have been burned into my heart and soul from the time I saw it. He opened that cover, and inside it said these words: "Dear John, keep the faith. Never lose hope. Always love the Lord." And it was signed by a missionary in 1952. He's one of the reasons why I do this work. Because once again, we're being asked to go to a place and bring a people who have no hope a sense of vision that God's not through with them yet. Several years ago, Bishop Schnazy and I and all the bishops from the United Methodist Church found our way to Mozambique, and I know that's a very special place for this annual conference. And I need to say on behalf of the whole denomination, what an amazing thing you people have done. I mean, I came in last night and I said, "What's that on the floor there?" Looked like something that the convention center had put there, and someone said, "No, that's Mozambique Initiative." Gosh, it's everywhere, even on the floor. We went to a meeting of the Council of Bishops, and one of the things that really, Robert and I have talked about this, really bugged us about that meeting was we spent the entire time in a room with no windows. We did get out on a Sunday morning to preach. and I was being sent out into the country. I had an interpreter, and that's one of the interesting things about any kind of public speaking that you do in Africa with an interpreter. You know, my preaching gets better in Africa because of an interpreter. Now, I'm not sure whether the guy's saying, man, this guy can preach, and he interprets it accurately, or he says, this really stinks, I got to add to it, because people go crazy when I preach in Africa. I think it's because of the interpreter. So my interpreter tells me about where we're going. He says, we're going to go to this place, this new church start. It's built next to a water well, he said. You know, he said, we're offering them literal water. You're going today to give them living water. And he said this church is built on this former landmine field. Well, we got there, and I noticed that the church was off in the distance, and we had to walk a ways to get there. I wear a size 15 shoe. I walked pretty gingerly across that field, just hoping that they'd gotten all the landmines. I noticed this little chapel, and there wasn't anybody inside, but behind the chapel there was this tent, and we went around, and there was this massive group of people who were singing and dancing. They were waiting for us. We began the worship service. For those of you that have been to Africa, you know when you go there, they sing and they sing and they sing, and then they pray and they pray and they pray, and then they preach and preach and preach, and then they sing some more, and then they pray some more, and then they preach some more. But at one point, there's an offering. They called for the offering. The lay leader stood behind the pulpit and said, now we're going to ask all of the members of this congregation to come forward and bring their offering. The members came down the aisle and gave their offering. Then he said, we're going to ask all of our attenders to bring their offering. And they came and brought their offering. And then he said, we're going to ask all the children to come and bring their offering. The children came and brought their offering. Now we're going to invite the youth, all the youth, come, bring your offering. And then they inevitably said, now we're going to ask our visitors to come and bring their offering. We were prepared. As we walked down that aisle, those people continually sang a song. The song was, I turned to my interpreter and I said, what are they singing? And he said, they're singing a song of thanksgiving. They're singing a song of joy. They're singing a song praising God for the opportunity to give. I was caught up with that song. We walked down that aisle and they sang, Zamaranza, Zamaranza, Anga Kona Wakupananaye. And I gave my offering. And my life was changed. You see, every time I go to Africa, everywhere I go, I see people who have absolutely nothing but joy. Here are people who inspire and bless our faith journey. They have absolutely nothing materially, but they have everything spiritually. And here we are in the United States. We have everything materially, but we struggle for joy. Seems to me it's time to make a connection. The Missouri Annual Conference is a part of a long-standing commitment to the development of the church and the people on the continent of Africa. Your Mozambique initiative, in particular, has borne much fruit in alleviating suffering and bringing hope to the people of that African country. I want to tell you, friends, you are known far and wide. The work that you do and the manner by which you do it is inspiring to the church. Missouri is known all across the connection, not because you have a successful annual conference, not because you got a great bishop or a wonderful staff. You're known because you get your fingers dirty with people all across the world. And you're a part of a plan that's been underway for many years, but a plan that's now being realized in an effort called Imagine No Malaria. We are in the process of reframing the mind of an African. For years, Africans have been convinced that they and their family members will get malaria. They've been convinced of that. Sometime during our journey, we're going to get malaria. And that eventually someone in our family is going to die from malaria. That's the standard operating mindset of an African. At some point, either I or my family member is going to get it, and at some point, one of my children or relatives is going to die from it. We are reframing that understanding. They don't have to get malaria. And they don't have to witness their family members dying from it. Because we've got an answer, and we've got the resources to make that answer come alive. But there is a need for all of us to get involved. The need is great. A few years ago, I found myself in DRC Congo. I was thrilled to be there. We were there for a net distribution. We took 15,000 bed nets with us to Kamina. We landed the plane. Bishop Natumbo has this great parade that happens. You know, you're welcomed so graciously when you come. We went to this town square, and there were thousands of people in this town square. They'd set up this stage. That community has 450,000 people in it. And I had 15,000 bed nets. At one point, my nickname in Africa is Mr. Malaria. I don't particularly like it, but that's... So during this presentation, there's this man. He's waving an old U.S. $2 bill right down here in front of me. And he's shouting as loud as he can, Mr. Malaria, Mr. Malaria, I'll buy one. I'll buy one. I didn't have enough. Later that day, I found myself in a clinic. I'm not an inconspicuous person, you know. I could go to a makeup artist and they could dress me up and make me look completely different, and I'd get out of a van and someone would say, Tom, why you got that crazy outfit on? And I said, get out of the van. There's a lady that says, Mr. Malaria. She takes me by the hand. I go into this clinic. She introduced me to a woman. Woman's holding her baby. The baby has malaria. She says to me, pray that my baby is healed. I don't have any magical powers. I'm just a guy from West Virginia. I give a humble prayer. The next morning I awaken. Bishop Matumbo says to me, you know that lady you met yesterday? I said, yeah. Her baby died overnight. My prayer didn't work. It was a plea for help. A plea to make scriptures come alive. A plea to share the resources, the wealth that we have with a world that desperately needs an opportunity to live. James says, be doers of the word and not just hearers who deceive themselves. So what can you do? Well, you can commit yourself today to know about malaria, to know about HIV, AIDS, and tuberculosis, and all that we're trying to do to help our brothers and sisters in Africa. You can share what you learn with others as we do everything possible to eliminate malaria-related deaths in Africa by 2015. And you can act. You're going to have several opportunities to act during this annual conference, and I've come to simply invite you into the action. I know what you can do here. You've proven it. You've exposed yourselves already. You can do a mighty work. And I invite you to think about what are the creative ways, and your creative energies combined with creative energies of conferences that are already doing this are just inspiring the world with unbelievable things. I mean, there are people dressing up in silly mosquito outfits because they believe in this thing. There are people who are making a fool of themselves, just a fool of themselves, because they want to make the world a better place. You're going to be given all kinds of opportunities, and I invite you to pray and to think and to dream and to be creative about the ways that you can energize people. This campaign has been going on 5 years, and the reality of it is it's still on the front page. It's still got momentum, and it's got momentum because when people get a hold of it, they realize that they can make a difference, and they want to be a part of it. You can make a difference. How many lives you can make over the next several years? How many lives will you commit to saving? And all that, friends, is couched with prayer. Prayer for families in Africa who live under the constant threat of malaria. Prayers for the success of this ministry. And prayers that God might enable us to achieve this great victory over malaria, so that in that one way, we've done a better job of leveling the playing field so that every one of God's children has a chance to live beyond age 5 and to live a long, healthy, sustained life. You know, we deceive ourselves into thinking that we've done the faith when we've merely just listened. We deceive ourselves when all we do is reflect or ponder. Just to think about it is passive. Just to think about it makes our church a place where we simply come with the expectation that maybe we're going to get our batteries charged. And when we just think and reflect on it and we come with those intentions, maybe our intentions are pretty self-centered because it's all about us. I've just come to get my battery charged. But you know the gospel. Jesus said, if you want to be great, you got to be small. If you want to have it all, you got to give it all away. And if you want to be the best disciple of Jesus Christ that you can be, you got to be a servant of all. See, the real test for this or any other annual conference is not what we do here. Rather, it's what we do outside of the doors of this room. It's what you're going to do this afternoon as you immerse this community with your presence. It's not what we do in this room. It's what we do when the doors are thrust open and we go out into the world and get our fingers dirty with the people who are hungry and hurting. We get our fingers dirty with the needs of the people, and we realize that we are a part of one big human family. And that's been one of the realities of being United Methodist. Just like I said before, we not only know the names of the people who give contributions to Imagine No Malaria, we know the names of the people who get the benefits of our gifts. The real test is making that connection with them. Praying hands, dirty fingernails, makes all the difference. Pastor, that was a wonderful sermon, said the parishioner after the service. And the pastor replied, that remains to be seen. Be doers of the word and not hearers only. Join us, won't you? Thank you.
Whether your congregation